So, let's talk about January 29th, 2026. That was the day the entire North American aerospace industry got completely rocked by a political shockwave, and it all started with a single social media post. We're going to break down what happened, what's really at stake, and why this is a much bigger deal than you might think.
And boom, this is where it all kicked off. This single post from President Donald Trump wasn't just some casual threat. It was a full-blown declaration that sent a multi-billion-dollar industry into a tailspin and called into question decades of international trust and cooperation.
And that's the real kicker here. This is a big deal because, well, it's never happened before. No world leader has ever so publicly used the technical, safety-focused process of aircraft certification as a political bargaining chip. Threatening to decertify a plane, basically to legally declare it unsafe to fly and ground it, just threw the entire industry into totally uncharted waters. So you have to ask, what could possibly lead to something so drastic? Well, it turns out it all boils down to a classic high-stakes rivalry between two absolute giants of the business jet world, America's Gulfstream and Canada's Bombardier. Okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty. First, the accusation was that Canada was dragging its feet, effectively blocking the approval of several new Gulfstream models. The ultimatum was crystal clear. You approve our jets, or we start grounding yours. And then, just to add another layer, there was the threat of a massive 50% tariff, which would pretty much torpedo trade. All right, to really grasp just how serious this is, we need to talk about the very process that's being used as leverage here: aircraft certification. Think of it like this. Certification is the ultimate safety seal of approval from a government. In the US, it's the FAA. They're the ones who say, yes, we've looked at the engineering, we've seen the test data, this plane is safe for people to fly in. It's an incredibly rigorous technical process. And here is the absolute heart of the matter. This whole process is supposed to be a sacred space, completely walled off from politics, from money, from trade disputes. The one and only question on the table should be, is this aircraft safe? That's it. This really lays it all out, doesn't it? On the left, you've got the system as it was designed, a collaborative, data-driven mission to keep the flying public safe. But then you look at the right, and you see how it's being twisted in this crisis into a political club to enforce trade demands. It's a night and day difference. And let's be clear, we're not just talking about political posturing. The amount of money and jobs on the line here is just staggering. You can't just neatly separate the US and Canadian aerospace industries. They're deeply, deeply woven together. Just wrap your head around this for a second. 5,400. That's how many Canadian-made aircraft are currently registered and flying in the US. We're not talking about a handful of planes here. They are a critical part of the aviation ecosystem. Now, the threat was laser-focused, at least at first, on the Bombardier Global Express family. We're looking at around 150 of these incredible high-end business jets. They're flown by major corporations, charter services, you name it. But here's where it gets really interesting. You might think, okay, this hurts a Canadian company. But it's not that simple. Look at this. Bombardier employs over 3,000 people in the US, and they work with almost 2,800 American suppliers. Thousands of American jobs are directly linked to this so-called foreign company. So, as you can imagine, it did not take long for Wall Street to notice. The second this threat became public, a shockwave ripped right through the financial markets. Everyone started wondering what a full-blown aerospace trade war would actually look like. And, the reaction was instant. Bam! The very next morning, Bombardier's stock just plunged 9%. What's crucial here is that investors weren't spooked by a faulty engine or a bad earnings report. They were spooked by pure political risk. So let's play this out. What actually happens if that 50% tariff goes into effect? Well, it's a domino effect. Suddenly, these jets become wildly expensive for US customers. Existing orders are at risk. Future sales, forget about it. And it creates chaos for the supply chain, harming the American companies that build parts for these jets and the American crews that fly and service them. You know, this whole situation is bigger than just two companies or even two countries. It really forces the entire global aviation system to a critical decision point. It's about law, it's about trust, and it's about what the future of air travel is going to look like. And this brings us to the massive, multi-billion-dollar legal question mark hanging over everything. Does the President of the United States actually have the power to do this? Can he legally order a safety agency to ground a plane for reasons that have nothing to do with safety? Well, when you talk to the folks who live and breathe aviation law, they're pretty much all on the same page. The FAA's legal mandate, its reason for existing, is to protect public safety, period. Its job is to evaluate engineering, not to be a strong arm for trade policy. Any move like this would almost certainly get buried in legal challenges. And really, this is the scary part, the Pandora's box. Because if the US can use safety rules as a bargaining chip, what's to stop every other country from doing the exact same thing? You could see the system of mutual trust that lets a plane certified in one country fly all over the world just crumble. It would be chaos. So as this whole thing continues to play out, you're going to want to keep your eyes on 4 key areas. First, diplomacy. Watch the back and forth between the governments. Second, regulation. What do the actual safety agencies, the FAA and Transport Canada, have to say? Third, the industry. How do airlines and big customers react? And finally, the legal front. Watch for the court battles, because they are probably coming.
Ultimately, it all comes down to this one big and settling question. When you start using the very systems designed purely to keep us safe in the air as weapons in a commercial fight, who really ends up paying the price? It's not just the companies, it's the workers, it's us as travelers, and it's the very foundation of trust that holds global aviation together.